אוקיי, מצאתי.
רגע,
אוקיי.
מצאת?
כן, עשיתי record on זה ענן.
קלאוד?
לקלאוד, לאיזה ענן כאילו זה יעשה לי?
בסדר, זה לענן של הזום, בסדר.
וואי, משום מה, אני לא יודעת למה זה מראה לי את זה ככה, view. אוקיי, סבבה. כאילו, כשאני מעבירה, רואים...
רואים שאת מעבירה עכשיו, כן.
ועכשיו שאני מעבירה, מה רואים? רואים שזה...
עכשיו רואים שאת על המצגת, כאילו... לא במסך מלא.
לא טוב. למה? אני כאילו רוצה שליד יהיה לי את ה... נו. כאילו את מה שאני מקריאה על זה בקיצור. הנה, עכשיו יש לי אחד טוב. אז אני... צחי?
כן, אני איתך.
עכשיו זה עובד טוב?
לא, עכשיו רואים את זה במסך קטן, את צריכה להגדיל את המסך. עכשיו זה טוב.
אז השאלה היא איך אני... טוב.
טוב, אתה שמונה, יכולים להתחיל לקרוא.
מתי נתחיל?
תגידי לכולם שלום, ותגידי שאת מתחילה בעוד חצי דקה.
טוב, עוד כמה רגעים אנחנו נתחיל.
באנגלית.
אוקיי. רק רגע. Okay, so shalom everybody. My name is Werner, and today we're going to talk about art in Jerusalem, the vision of the Bezalel Academy, and until today. I'm leading today an educational project who teach Jewish children around the world about Yerushalayim in schools around the world. And I have a background with art, so let's start. Boris Schatz, who invented Bezalel, it's a man, it's not just a street. And as we can see, just a minute, please. I apologize. Okay. So Jerusalem, it's actually a production of stories of people. It's the stories of the education. It's a story of politica. It's a story of religion. And today we are going to tell the artistic story of Yerushalayim. We will mention the School for High Art Bezalel. We will talk about its founder, Boris Schatz, and who were the students. We will see how looks the art today in the street of Yerushalayim, which is made by many artists who studied in its institutes. And let's start. So Boris Schatz, Shlomo Zalman Dov Baruch Schatz, treasure. Boris Schatz is not just a street in Yerushalayim, a street which a central transport artery between King George and the street of Shmuel HaNagid, where there the Academy of Art has started, and today it's the architecture department. The Schatz street is small, not bigger than an alley, but every Friday you can come and go to this art fair, not under Corona time, and get their jewelries and other products handmade, mostly by graduated of Bezalel. So he arrives to Jerusalem more than 100 years ago from Europe with a vision. He's a sculptor and a painter, and earns his artistic recognition in the World Exhibition, which is in Paris. There, he presents the Matityahu statue. As we can see on the presentation, the Matityahu statue, which he presented in this exhibition in Paris, is the one with the knife, where you can see. And the piece of statue in the middle, this is not the real one. It is another one he made later, a few years later, or maybe it was the another version of it, but it's not the real one, and the real one is not found until today. But what is special, what is different about the statue than other art pieces in this time? We're talking about 100 and more years ago. So the statue actually, it embodies an idea within it. The idea that the exile Jew period is over and we are in a new period. Boris Schatz meets Herzl a year before Herzl died on 1903. And Boris Schatz falls in love with a Zionist idea, with a Zionism vision. He was very bothered that Jewish olim, Jewish immigrants, come to Israel and they don't have a job. What could they do? So he had an idea to produce a factory where there the Jews would be able to make tools to produce stuff and sell them. But this idea never come true, but this is the seed for a bigger idea, much bigger. Herzl dies on 1904, and Boris Schatz runs from rich person, from sponsor to sponsor, to earn money and to make his idea for building the art school, a Hebrew, Jewish school in Yerushalayim. And it's happening. This idea is happening a year after, on 1906. We have the Bezalel school in Jerusalem. Where is it? It is based, what we see now, this is the beginning and of Bezalel. This is right on the Shmuel HaNagid street, and he built his house right next to it. After a year, few months, the Bezalel is ready. We can see the menorah on the roof, and it's coming true. This is the first instructor, and the second one, if we recognize it, you see the Migdal David behind. The instructor is actually a continue of Shar Yafo, of Jaffa Gate, but it doesn't exist today anymore. So in this time, we had two instructors of Bezalel. Now, who are the students in Bezalel? It's a new idea. There is no state. There is no army. It's all just beginning. But before we answer, I want to jump to year 1914, World War I. The war shows its results also on the art front in Israel, and the school of Bezalel is closed. Schatz has gone into exile by the Ottoman Empire to Damascus, and later he is allowed to move to Galilee, to the Galil, and he sits in Tveria. And in Tveria, he writes an autopsy document which refers to Jerusalem 100 years later, actually 2018. Today we can compare. Was he right? What do we see on the front of the book? We see him. It's not so clear, but let's try. The man who sits, it's Boris Schatz. The man who stands is Bezalel ben Uri ben Hur from the Torah, from the Bible. He is the first designer, the first architect who is mentioned in the Torah, in the Tanakh. And what was his role? To create the Mishkan, to create the mobile temple in the desert. And what is happening there? What's been described in this book? So the main hero is actually Bezalel, and they are talking about how would it be in Yerushalayim in the 21st century. And Boris Schatz described there that there will be so many buildings that you will not be able to see the tower of Migdal David. Is it true? Yes, this is true. And he describes there that on the next 100 years, we will have a phone with a picture. He describes that there will be an underground train in the middle of Yerushalayim. Well, underground, not yet, but at least a train. It's also something. It sounds familiar. What else he describes? He describes a harmony life with nature and with the Arabs, people in Israel. He describes the third temple built with agreement with the Arabs in Israel, and that the art in Jerusalem is a center for culture and for education. What is written there in the corner? Yerushalayim habnuya. This is the name of the book. The built Jerusalem. Amar Rabbi Yoshaya, עתידה ירושלים לעשות פנס לאומות העולם והם מהלכים לאורה. It says in Yalkut Shimoni, and Boris Schatz writes that in the corner of this painting, that in the future, Yerushalayim will be like a flashlight for the other nations in the world, and they will walk through this light. It's very impressive. Okay, so let's go back to the year of 1906. Now we understand the name of the school, Bezalel, named by Bezalel ben Uri ben Hur. What do we see in this picture? We see Boris Schatz sits there next to the table, and he is actually interviewing these girls. They come to register to the new school, but what are they? They look young. They don't look in the age of students. And they look like they live in Israel. Who are they? They are Ashkenazi girls from the community that named Anshei HaYishuv HaYashan, the old community in Jerusalem, the ultra-Orthodox. And they will not be a famous artist. They came to work in this craft house. The Betzalel was actually a, yes, I see there are questions. Someone raises the hand. But you know what? I will answer at the end. So write down the questions if you have. Okay, so these girls, they didn't come to the school to be an artist. They will not have a chance in this time because they are invited to be part of the craft house. What does it mean? Let's see who else. The Yemenis in Jerusalem, they are part of the pilgrim department. They work with silver and gold. They brought the technique from a traditional technique, and they will design what Ze'ev Rabban and his friends, the real student, the real designers, they will make what they told them to do. What does it mean about, today we can criticize the situation. Today we can say that actually there was a vision, but the look over those people, the ultra-Orthodox Ashkenazi and these Yemenis in Jerusalem, it was a look to the past. It was like something romantic. It was, they are not part of the Zionist idea. They represent the Ivri. They represent something from the Bible. They're not representing Zionism. The Zionism is European, and the natives, they're just a inspiration. So who are the real students? Yeah, and this is another picture of the Yemeni men. These are the real students. They came from Europe. They draw the natives. They take picture of them. They represent the Bible stories. Boris Schatz believed that the student from Europe needs to be part of the culture in Israel. A very culturally place are the synagogues. So we see here the synagogue Ades. Synagogue Ades was established on 1901 by the Khaleb community from Syria. And this is right next to, mamash across the street of Betzalel. It's in the neighborhood Nachlaot, which is next to Betzalel. And one of the students, very creative, very has good skills, is Yaakov Stark. Yaakov Stark comes to this synagogue and asks them if he can paint, if he can make decorations on the walls of the synagogue. This is one of the most beautiful synagogues in Yerushalayim. And he makes the emblem of the 12 tribes of Israel. And we can see it. Now, more than a nice decoration, this is actually the first topography that's made in Yerushalayim. This is a vision. They started it. There wasn't topographia Israelite then in the world. So they put the seeds, the stones of the art that today we call Israeli art. The synagogue was destroyed in the War of Independence, and the painting was covered. So only on 2009, the community members, they ordered someone from Italy to make restoration, and he caused a big damage to the painting. So they stopped it. They renewed it on 2015 together with Yad Ben Tzvi and Rashut HaAtikot. So now we can see the real painting of Yaakov Stark. What we have here on the corner is the snake. Why I mentioned it? Because Yaakov Stark painted this the snake, which is the emblem for Shevet Dan, for the Dan tribe. But the community members covered it because by the Kabbalah, if a pregnant woman sees a snake, she can lose the baby. So but today it's revealed, and here we can see it. We can hear, no, okay, 1936, I apologize. The school is closed in from 90, like on the time of World War I, and also Boris Shatsky tries to earn money, to get money, but it doesn't work so well. And then a few years later, he dies. So the school, there's no school for a few years. But then again, on 1936, the Betzalel school is open again. But then it's different. The Betzalel we see here on the picture, it's the Betzalel in Har HaTzofim. But the Betzalel then was opened, yes, on Rehov Betzalel Shmuel HaNagid, in the middle of the town, of downtown of Yerushalayim. And many departments are spread in Yerushalayim. There is a department in Rehov HaNevi'im and another one in the middle of the city. There is no one building as we have today. The concept of the school is also new. If the concept, when Boris Schatz opened it, was to produce, let's call it materialistic culture, because we're a nation. It's Zionism. We are a nation that comes back to its land. So what is our art? Every nation has a material culture. We also have to have it. So it led him to build it. But what have we produced then? We had these Ashkenazi girls who made crochet, and it just brought their art. They brought what they had done in Europe, and we had these Yemenis men who brought their technique from Yemen. But so what is Israeli? And then we had those Europe students who copied faces of Arabs, who filmed pictures of native Yemen Jews in Jerusalem, what's Jewish art in it? So this is a beginning. It passed a lot of gilgulim until we have what we have today in Bezalel. So Bezalel is new, 1936. A lot of Olim from Germany and Europe are coming. We are actually before World War II. And they want to be part of a art revolution. They want to do modern art. They want to be part of it. So, for example, we can see a difference in the ceramic department. Until then, we just have department that work with the wheel, like kadarut, we call it. There isn't art with ceramic. We have a student called Lydia Zebski, comes from Poland, and she comes with ideas of Europe, and she actually comes to this wheelwork ceramic and brings her artistic idea from Poland into Israel. And she leads the new department of art of ceramic art, later would be together with glass. Step by step, the school grows, and they have many, many departments like filming, and fashion, and more as we know today. And they are actually holding they see themselves like the best school of art in Israel. Now, today, if we look around in Yerushalayim, we see that actually the field of art is wider than it was, but Bezalel gave us the seeds. So I'll tell you a little story from my experience. Almost 10 years ago, I studied there in the Department of Ceramic and Glass. There aren't many from like religious people there, so I felt a little bit different. But then I looked around and I said, we are all different. There are so many people. Each one of us has like his artistic ideas. I'm not different. I'm part of this different. I feel connected. The school tried to have more and many students, Arabs and Jewish people and Haredim and the team, to make it wider, to say we are the face of the Israeli community. Is it true? I don't know. Many people believed it's not true. Few people believed there are art ideas that not coming, that you can't express them, you can't grow with them in Bezalel. So many other schools were built in Yerushalayim, like the school for photography in Musrara, like the school Emunah for Jewish girls in Talpiot. Then we have המכללה לתקשורת חזותית, Adasa. And more groups started to work in Yerushalayim. Now, what are the students, what are they doing after? One of the answers for artists in Yerushalayim tried to give Beit Elians. What do we see in this picture? It's the yard of an old school, which called Beit Elians, from the 19th century. It was one of the modern schools in Yerushalayim then back in time. For years, it became just empty. It was an empty house that few artists from a group called Baitrek, Empty House, entered to this house and started to make art in it. A few years later, the institution Ruach Hadasha, New Spirit, gets this house and they get the permission to bring in groups of artists that they can work inside. The scene of art in Jerusalem is not so easy. Many students, many of them don't find themselves connected to the religious community in Yerushalayim, feel like they don't want to live in Yerushalayim. They want to live, but they can't sound their voice. One of the things that Beit Elians try to do is to have everyone, again, to bring a place where their Jerusalem people, Jerusalemian people, would be able to work there and to show their work and work together. If they're Arabs, if they're religious, if they're secular, all group and produce together a nice art. One of the groups that worked there was a group called Studio of Her Own. Studio of Her Own is a group that was made to give an answer for religious women that experienced difficulties after they finished the schools of art and needed support. This NGO was opened something like 10 years ago. And today, if you can't, and they have supported many women, but today they decided to close themselves, to close this idea of helping Jewish religious women and to open themselves to women at all. And why is it? Because something with the field of art also for the religious community, it also has changed. And today, part of the many changes in Yerushalayim, a lot of artists can be supported, and a lot of art can be present in many galleries and exhibitions. Other groups who works in Yerushalayim, we have Muslala. It's a group of artists that started in the neighborhood Musrara. They started to work with street art. They wanted to put their signature and to combine it with the street. But today, they're placed in a building right across Beit Elians, and they work with nature. They work also with omanut chevratit, like with people, and this is what specialized them. We have another group called The Factory. They actually part of the empty house. They found empty houses and they worked in these empty houses and put their art. And today, The Factory is actually a stable gallery that people can come and show their works there. If you have any question, this is the time. I will stop sharing. And I would like to see you. Wait. Trying to see all of us. Okay, so if you have any question or yes, if you can chat me. So there is a question. Can you tell us the names of the different schools and galleries again. Yes, so there is the schools, it's Hadassah, the מכללת הדסה, say it in Hebrew, בית ספר לצילום מוסררה, the house for, the school for photography מוסררה. We have Emunah for religious Jewish, not Jewish, but religious, obviously Jewish girls. This is in Yerushalayim. Out of Yerushalayim, we have another, we have more. We have Pardes, which is in the Washington Hills. It's also religious, let's call it inspiration. And Shankar for sure, the Technology in Hulon. So there are many, and it's much wider than we had once. Someone has another questions? Trying to see how can I see you. Okay, so if there's no question, so actually it ends here, and we end here if there is no question. Oh, so someone asks here about Maskit. Nachon. Maskit is also, Maskit was the first factory that produced, it also came out by Bezalel, and they produced also clothes and also tools. And there are the first, yes, designers, let's call it, that came out from Bezalel, and they came with the idea to earn money, not just to make art, fine art, like the first idea of Bezalel, that actually artists would be able to be part of the ta'asiyah, part of the factory, and earn money for this. Is there another question? You see here a lot of thank you, very nice lecture. Just saying for the teachers of us, in Olam Shalem, we are producing lessons for teachers, and next year we will have few lessons that fits to art class about the Chagall windows and some more. So be with us and follow. Where is Maskit now? Maskit turned to be Polgat, and Polgat turned to be part of the group of Amashbir LaTzarchan. So it kind of ended, but there was a nice exhibition in the Israel Museum of the designed of the clothes of Maskit. It's history. It's part of the history of Israel. Yofi. I'm very happy, and there is a terrific store of Maskit in Tel Aviv. Nachon. Interesting if it's the same one, if it's just by the inspiration, if these are clothes from once. I think it's Yad Shniya, if I know it correctly. No, it's not. Original Tel Aviv, same company, but from the original owner. Yefet. So Maskit started years ago, and it's part of the basic of Israel. Must say, I'm not so much familiar with the fashion in Israel. it's not my professionality, more sculpting and ceramic and glass. Yeah. Okay, if there are more questions, I'll be happy to answer, and I hope to give later more lectures about specific art in Yerushalayim and specific pieces of art, like modern art compared to the not modern. This was actually just an exhibition, an instruction to see who is interested in what. Where can we see your art? Soon it will be on Instagram under my name. Yes, but yes, yeah. Okay. More questions? If not, each one of you can write me, can WhatsApp me also. And if there are no questions, I will tell you bye-bye and have a good day for the Americans and the Latin America from us, and hope to see you later. Bye. They started.
עדיף פשוט לכבות את הזום.